Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to day 2 of the Services That Sell workshop. Yesterday was all about the income injection and just helping you understand the true value and importance of selling a signature service and really how you can build a solid foundation for your online business by starting to sell services first. Now that we have that really out of the way, today we're going to be talking all about how to really scale your business with services so you can really get a long-term understanding of just really what's possible for you when you start with a solid foundation to begin with your services and just really how you can take that to the next level. So as you guys are popping on live, definitely pop in the comments, say hey, let me know you're here. I know that yesterday's Facebook Live was just like on and popping. So if you were not able to be with us live yesterday, you can still catch the replay and get caught up because it's not too late. But I am so excited to see some familiar faces. Hi, Samantha, Brittany, Tahita, Jasmine, Janet, Sharish, Janae. Hello, everybody. So one thing that we started off yesterday with, I want to make sure that we start today off with is, are you guys still down for the ride? And I'm guessing you guys are because you guys are back for day 2. But if anybody is new with us, I want to just make sure that we all recap that starting a business is really similar to getting on a roller coaster ride. You know, there's a cost associated with getting into the amusement park, traveling to the amusement park, paying for the ticket to get into the amusement park, and then you have to have the courage and the faith really to act out of that boldness to actually get on the ride. The same thing is true in business. There's a lot of ups and downs, peaks and valleys that go on when we're building a business. And if you get off the ride prematurely, it can be really fatal to your livelihood. It can be fatal to your business. So I know everybody's been buckled up, edges tied down today, LaShayla. I hear you on that. So I just want to make sure everybody is still down for the ride. I'm just letting everybody know you have an opportunity to exit if this just isn't for you. But today's growth assignment really was talking about money and really just, again, what opportunities are available to you when it comes to selling a signature service and the true power of selling a signature service, okay? And I'm interested to know for you guys who have already done the day 2 growth assignment, how was that client calculator for you? I know some people said talking about money made them a bit nervous, had them sweating a bit much. But today's growth assignment was all about really you guys determining what your finances were going to be, what your long-term income goals are going to be for the year, and really nailing down how much money you wanted to earn over the next 90 days. And it is just really vital and important for you to have an end goal in mind. And then from there to be able to reverse engineer that goal so you know with confidence and certainty what's required of you, but also what step you need to take next to actually make that happen. And we're going to talk about how to really reverse engineer that income goal, because understanding what your long-term income goal is, like being able to look out, 12 months from now and really see how much am I going to be making on a monthly basis in my business based off my signature service offer and based off the number of clients. That really, we're going to talk about how to reverse engineer that so you can actually understand, okay, now that I have these bigger pieces, how do I actually price my signature offer at the dollar amount that I want to? And actually, how do I start attracting clients that are willing to pay for that? And really converting people on a consistent basis to actually bring that income in. So I'd love for you guys to share, if you've done the day 2 growth assignment, what was your money goal? What was your 3-month income goal? Just pop it in the comments. Let us know. This is totally a safe space, and we need to get more comfortable talking about money anyways. Because I am going to debunk some things and help you guys work through setting expectations that really do set you up for success so you can actually achieve those income goals that you guys set out. So just pop it in the comment. What was your 3-month income goal? Just pop it in the comments and let me know. So on today's Facebook Live, on today's training, we're going to go through 3 core topics, okay? And this is something I want to make sure everybody walks away with a clear understanding around. One is, what are the 3 different cash flow models that exist for a service-based business owner? And really the 3 different cash flow models that most business owners fall into. So you can really identify where you're at and start to prepare yourself for where you want to be. 2 is how to strategically predict what's going to happen with your cash flow. Yes, that is totally possible for you to do in this whole online world. It is simple and possible for you to make it predictable. And finally, how to actually enjoy the journey while you're building this business, while you're scaling your business. I'm not sure if any of you guys are currently feeling this or have felt it, but as you're building your business, sometimes we start to resent what we built. You know, we start to resent the business we're building. We start to resent the clients that we have. And just first and foremost, like, you need to and you deserve to actually enjoy the process of building your business. That's why you're doing this thing in the first place, right? Like, you want to actually enjoy what you're doing and love the business that you're building. So we're going to talk about all 3 of those things and really how to master that so you can not only start your business, but begin to scale it. So the income goals I'm seeing for the next 3 months, we're all over the map, which is so much fun. I see 7,500, 5,900, 40,000. Angela, I want you to get specific. I know you said 5 to 10K. What is your actual number? Kimberly, 15,000. Lamisha, 10,000. Shakitha, 1,500. This is so good. And I think the beauty of what we have been talking about over the last 3 days, and really how the services that sell courses set up, it's really designed to meet you where you're at. You know, yesterday in day 1, we talked all about, you guys took the business audit to determine where you were at in your business. Whether you were a builder, whether you were a catalyst, or whether you were a mogul, it really helps you understand where you're at so you can understand the next best step to take. Versus this, you know, I don't believe in like cookie cutter approaches, because all of you guys are at different points in your journey, and you guys need to focus and allow yourself to really get clear on what you need and what works best for you for where you're at, so you can start to move the needle. So I love the fact that people here are all over the board in regards to what their income goals are. I see 15,000. LaShayla said 12,000, but I'm scared about it. And we're going to talk about that too today. I see 9120. Okay, Angela, she got more specific for us, the 8885. So guys, we're going to talk about that feeling that you have, that fear around that finance number, okay? So let's go ahead and just get started, because we're going to talk first about the 3 different cash flows models that most service-based business owners fall into. And as we're going through and learning this, y'all already know I got my whiteboard markers ready, because it's about to be on and popping. As we guys are going through this, I want you guys to kind of point out to me which one of these cash flow models are you currently experiencing in your business, and which one do you actually want to be experiencing. So let's go ahead and get started. So the 3 different cash flow models that most, well, I say all service-based business owners, they fall into one of these 3 categories. And the first one, let me go ahead and get my black marker out so you guys can see this clearly. So the first one that most people fall into is what I like to call the plateau. Okay? Many business owners fall into this trap. And this is something where really they've kind of peaked out in regards to what they're earning in their business. You know, maybe they got started, they slowly started making some money, and then they stalled out, right? You know, you made some money, you were ramping up here, but then you reached a point where you haven't been able to get over a certain price threshold. So maybe you got to a point where you're making $2,000 a month and you haven't been able to break beyond that. Or you're making $4,000 a month or $10,000 a month, and you kind of plateau off. This is really when you kind of peaked out and you are unclear and do not have a strategy in place that allows you to like get beyond this ceiling that you've kind of tapped at. So let me know if anybody has experienced this in their business. I was going through the assessment earlier today from what you guys' results were yesterday. I know a lot of you guys have not started selling yet, which we're going to talk all about that a little bit later on, because you'll never make money if you never make the invitation. But let me know, anybody here, have you guys experienced the plateau, the peak out? The second cash flow model that many of us fall into, you guys have probably heard of this term, the feast and famine, right? And this is where many of us here, we are making money and we get an influx of money very quickly. And then we drop off and we stall out for a bit. We might make money again, drop off, stall out for a bit. And that's what happens. You know, it's like you get these large cash injections in your business, and maybe in a short time frame. You run out of clients that are paying and you drop off and go back down to zero or close to zero. And that same type of thing keeps happening. So this is something that I personally experienced in my business. Let me know if you guys in the comments, I know some of you guys are having some streaming issues. Can you guys just pop in the comments and let me know? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Just either throw some hearts up on the screen or just pop in the comments and let me know. But this is something that I personally experienced in the first year in my business. You know, I was able to kind of start off, make a little bit of money. I was making, you know, like $500 to $1,000. And then I would plateau, I would drop. So I'd make $1,000 in a month, and then for the next 2 or 3 months, no money would come in. And then I'd make $1,300, and then I'd drop back off and no money would come in. And that's really what, you know, like, we call that the feast and famine. And a lot of service-based business owners fall into this because they do not have a sales process in place that allows them to predict their income and create consistency over their cash flow beyond just a month or so out. So this is really the second cash flow model that a lot of people trip up into. And just kind of let me know, for those of you guys who are catching this live or in the replay, can you guys resonate with any one of these cash flow models? And then just let me know, do you identify with plateau, feast and famine, or have you just not sold yet, so you don't have any cash flow model yet, you're just rolling at zero? And the third cash flow model, this is really the one that is most ideal, that I think many of us desire to get to, but are struggling to figure out how to get here. And this is really what I call the surfers. And the reason why I call it the surfers is because it's kind of like riding a wave, right? It's kind of like riding a wave. And this is really like, how can you get your business to a point where you're having these consistent exponential increases and your income never drops. So you go up and then you just continue to go up. And this is really what I like to call riding the wave, because you never really drop below a certain threshold or below a certain like income amount in a monthly time frame. You're always increasing your income and really getting yourself to a place where you're just exponentially growing your business and exponentially seeing an increase in your income month over month over month. And this is like, again, I like to call this, you know, you're getting really good at riding the wave. And based off these three different cash flow models, this is really it's important for you to understand kind of where you're at and to be able to understand the indicators that are going on in your business when you might be falling into one of these two traps, to make sure that you can actually start pivoting ahead of time so you can fall more into the surfers category. Because all of us here, we want consistent income. We want our income to keep growing and increasing. So it is important for you guys to at least understand these cash flow models ahead of time, so you can know what's coming, kind of predict that in your business and make a strategy to help make sure that you avoid these first two categories, okay? And BB said number 3 is me now. Girl, that is the best place for you to be in. And especially for those, again, it doesn't really matter how much money you're making in your business. You can fall into either one of these 3 cash flow models. You know, I know people who are plateauing and they can't seem to crack over like $20,000 a month. Or maybe you're in the feast and famine where like your business is really set up on these like launch cycles. And it's like these huge influxes of money at one time, and then it kind of like drops off and steers off. So it's good for you guys just to understand these cash flow models here, okay? Tiny said, I'm ready to ride bigger waves. So Jennifer, the surfer model again here is really, this is where you're experiencing consistent exponential growth in your business. So it's a lot of people want to go from 0 to 100,000 overnight, and that's not really sustainable. It's really all about how can you have controllable scalability in your business and control the growth so you can actually maintain it on a consistent basis. So this is really how do you set up your service-based business in a way that allows you to again, grow and earn income, kind of re-strategize, reset, and continue to just slowly increase your income month over month over month. So you see here, your income never actually falls beneath a certain dollar amount because you've created consistency in the cash flow. Versus feast or famine, you might make a ton of money in March, and then no money in April, May, June, and then July you make a bunch of money, and then it's a ton of income, and then you're broke. So that makes sense. Nicole said I'm not even on the model yet, and that's okay. I think this, for those of you guys who have not yet started to sell, you guys are already getting yourself ahead of the game by understanding these 3 different cash flows. Because most people don't even realize they're in this until it's already too late. And this allows you guys to create a strategy from the get-go, right out of the gate, that sets you up to be a surfer, to be really riding the wave. So it's actually a really good thing. Okay? Knowledge is power when you actually apply it. So really, really good stuff there. So after we've talked about these 3 different cash flow models, I want you guys to understand, like, really there is a way for you to strategically predict what's going to happen in your cash flow. And this here is really about 2 core things, okay? I'm going to say the second one. I'm going to say this here, okay. So this is really all about there's 2 core things. And the main thing for you to create a predictable profit process, this is something I love to say, because we all need and should be striving for that in our business. I'm assuming most of us here want that if you have that business owner mindset, is that you really want to create a strategic sales system and have that in place so you can actually know your numbers, predict what's going to happen, understand your metrics, because this really allows you to forecast your income down the line. So even that client calculator that we put in place today, a lot of you guys were able to look at, okay, what is my monthly income going to look like every single month over the next 12 months, and what is my annual income going to be? Again, that's just step 1. From there, it's like, how do you reverse engineer that to actually make sure you have the right systems and strategy in place to actually bring those numbers to life? And I know yesterday we talked about the lean launch strategy, which is very, like, I think it's really like the elementary foundational way for you to start selling your services. And we talk about that in a three-step process, right? Where you attract your client. Step 2 is you convert your client. And step 3 is all about delivering to that client, right? And now understanding this is a sales system. But this is just the bare bones, right? You need to now understand, okay, what are the key metrics at each one of the steps in my system that are controllable? And when the better I get at understanding my metrics, that allows me to increase my conversion at each one of these stages. So then I can do a better job of forecasting my income based off of previous behavior in my business and actually predicting what my income is going to be. We're getting kind of technical here, but let me know if you guys are following this, okay? If any questions come up, let me know. So when you think about this here, I always use, when it comes to attraction, I think that one of the most powerful ways for you to attract the right type of client is actually through the Facebook Live, even like we're doing right now. Right? And then from there, I get people on what I call an enrollment call. And then from there, I actually convert them to a client and onboard them. Now, the key thing for you to understand in this system is what metrics are controllable that impact your conversion rate from each step to each step. So an example of this might be a metric that you might need to have at this Facebook stage is what are the number of videos that the number of video views that I need to get that equate to me getting one enrollment call. So if I have a Facebook Live video and I'm getting, 800 people viewing it or 100 people viewing it, based off of 100 people viewing my video, how many actually take the call to action to register and sign up for a call for me? When you know that metric, that is a metric that you can control. Meaning if you can get more people to view your video and it's good content, and you know that for every 100 people that view my video, one person will schedule an enrollment call with me, that's a controllable metric. Because you'll be able to predict, well, if I get 1,000 people to view my video, that means if it's based on the same conversion rate and you're able to like consistently show that, that means 10 people will sign up for an enrollment call. From there, even getting people on an enrollment call, what is your conversion rate on that enrollment call? So when somebody actually gets on the phone with you and you're on the phone with them, how often are you able to actually convert that person to a paid client? That's a controllable metric. You can get better at the sales conversation. You can make better asks along the way. You can get better at having that conversation and guiding somebody to a yes. Another controllable metric here is what are the number of calls you typically have to have before a client says yes. A lot of clients don't say yes on the first call, depending on what your offer is and the price point and a ton of other things. But if you have if you have a track record, it takes 10 clients, normally 2 calls before they're ready to say yes, that's a controllable metric. You can really create a strategy around that and how do you get better at the sales call, or how do you shorten that process so you can get a conversion quicker? Those are controllable metrics. Or even with this client onboarding here, understanding what is your total sales cycle, meaning how long does it take a new customer from discovering you to actually converting into a paid client? For me, I know my sales cycle is about 3 to 4 months. So I know it takes 3 to 4 months on average based off my data that lets me know that if somebody discovers me today, it always takes them 3 or 4 months before they're willing to make a purchase from me. That's a controllable metric. Because then when you start to track out what is that client journey, where are they discovering you from? What are all those controllable conversion gateways? And then how can I enhance those to help move people through that sales cycle process quicker? Are you guys following me on this? So I understand this is really meaty stuff. And this, again, is stuff that we go in depth on in the Services That Sell program. But I want you guys to just have a good understanding of, in order for you to create consistency in your cash flow and be able to predict what's going to happen with your income month over month, you have got to have a strategic sales system. You need to have a process that you have in place that allows you to actually sell your services. And then from there, not only just having the process, you need to understand what are the controllable metrics along your process and how can you improve those metrics so you can increase your conversions. So many people say, well, Jay, I'm not making more money because I don't have a big audience. When you understand your sales cycle and you understand those conversions and you're able to increase that conversion rate at each one of those stages, you do not need a big audience. Like, you don't need a big audience. I have a very small audience for what I'm bringing in. Russell Brunson, if you guys have read any of his books, he normally says for every 10,000 subscribers, it's normally $1 that you should expect from each subscriber. So if you want to make $10,000 a month, you need to have 10,000 subscribers because each subscriber is worth like $1 a piece. That type of thing. I don't believe in that. I mean, I think it's probably true for most people, but when you go through the process of what I teach in Services That Sell, it really teaches you about connecting and building a community, but really understanding the power of each one of those conversion metrics. So instead of a client only being worth $1 potentially, they're now worth $100 or $200. So you can, I have just over 2,000 people on my email list. And well, I'll say this, when I hit $200,000 in my business, I had around 2,100 people on my email list. And like, when I tell people that, they're looking at me like I'm crazy because that's not a big email list. I've been in business for 2 years. I have just over 2,000 people on my email list. Drisha Hawk has brought in over $200,000 in revenue. It's not about having a big list. It's not about having a huge audience. It's really about having understanding your clients well enough and having a very signature service that is specialized. It's clear to communicate, and understanding the conversion metrics at each one of the stages along your sales process, because then you're able to increase the lifetime value of your current customers. About 30 to 40% of my customers are repeat buyers. That is huge. So I'm kind of harping on this point. I'm hoping this is making sense for everybody. And I know, again, this is not something we're going to be able to like dive deep on into all the nitty gritty how to. That's what we teach in the Services That Sell course. But I want you guys to at least have an understanding of this, because I think a lot of time people say, well, Jay, I want to make $100,000 or I want to make $150,000. How do I get there? It's like, well, one, you need to have a signature service so you can perfect the process in which you help clients get results. And then having a signature service also allows you to really develop and understand what is your sales cycle, because everybody's sales cycle is going to be a little bit different, because we all are unique. We all have different offers. We all have different audiences. And once you understand what your sales cycle is, and then you understand the metrics that are in place at each one of those levels, you're then able to increase your income and create and really predict what's going to happen. Because if you know, if you know you have a 5% conversion rate or a 10% conversion rate, that allows you to predict, okay, you know, you can see how many new leads do I need to get to convert at this percentage in order for me to convert this many clients. So good there. So that's the first thing on really how to create predictability in your cash flows. You need to understand what your sales cycle is in the first place and understand your metrics that control your entire sales system from beginning to end, okay? And then from there, the really powerful thing that I think scares a lot of people but has been really, really powerful for me in my business is, aside from actually knowing your metrics and which ones to track and how to track them, it's really how do you create a cash cushion that allows you to predict your income month over month. And this is really about launching your services like people launch courses or digital products. And I know this is not the most normal thing in the online space. I see other experts doing something similar because it works. But I know a lot of people, I know when I started my business, I didn't understand what it meant to launch my service. Because I'm like, well, what do you mean I need to launch my service? Like, it's not a product. It's not a book. It's not an iPhone. It's not like something physical or tangible or a course or something. How do I launch my service? And this is, again, what I teach in the lean launch process is how do you launch your services so you can kind of book yourself out in advance, create a cash cushion. And, you know, like, for example, when I quit my job, I was able to book over $60,000 in sales the month before I quit, because that gave me the confidence to actually go quit my job, because I knew over the next 6 months, I had $60,000 coming in. Okay. And that allowed me to, I know that at minimum, I'm going to be bringing in at least $10,000 a month for the next 6 months if I don't do anything else. That gave me predictability. That gave me confidence. That allowed me to really be able to step fully into this business and move forward. But when you launch, you're able to have more flexibility because you're able to predict and you know what's coming in. But this also allows you to pivot as needed, because this is something that a lot of business owners struggle with, is knowing when to pivot and knowing how to pivot, and really how to create a business that even allows you to pivot. So when you think about this, let's say you do launch something and you launch your service, you have a 3-month package. Let's just say you're bringing in $1,000 a month per client. So it's a $3,000 package. And let's say you book, 10 clients for the next 3 months or something. So you at least know you have $10,000 coming in each month. But let's just say, 3 clients drop off. And we'll talk about the nuances of that a little bit more in the Services That Sell course, like what to do when a client doesn't pay, what to do when a client voids your contract, how to actually release a client, when should you release a client, all of those things. But if you know that, and then maybe clients are dropping off, or maybe a life occurrence happened where you need more income, this allows you to at least pivot more. It gives you flexibility and allows you to pivot more readily available. So you can actually go out and do something different, create a new strategy, readjust, so you can actually make sure you hit your income goals. Because you already have a solid cash cushion, which gives you, and now that you know somewhat of what's predicting and you have some metrics to track, you now have the insight and the forewarning if things aren't going as planned, to be able to readjust and re-strategize along the way. So this is really, really, really powerful for us in service-based businesses because many of us don't have that flexibility. Many of us really struggle with creating that type of flexibility. So that's something that is really important for you as you're learning to scale and actually growing your business. Again, it's understanding your metrics and really just understanding the power of launching your services. Okay? Because like I mentioned, I might have launched a mastermind group, which is a service that was a 6-month program and allowed me to book enough money up to cover myself for the next 6 months. I've seen other designers, for example, web developers, where they only offer or take new clients once a year. And how they're able to do this is they launch their website design service, maybe in January every year or something. And they book themselves out. So they look at what their income goal is for the year. And, they're able to, based off the income, the price of their product, able to say that I need 20 clients over the course of the year to hit my income goal. So once a year, they will launch their website service, bring in 20 clients, and book those people out throughout the year. So maybe like the first 5 people are able to go in January. The next 5 get started in April. The next 5 get started in April, May, like July or something. They book themselves out for the entire year. That gives them consistency in their cash flow. That's one way to do it. So I just think it's important for you guys to start thinking about what would it look like for you to launch your services. And if you need help with that, again, we teach that super, super in-depth in the Services That Sell course. So more to come on that later. But the third biggest thing here is how to actually enjoy the journey while you are building your business. I know a ton of us, and I have been in this position too, where I'm building my business and I'm really on the verge of like burning out. I'm building this business and it's just like, I don't even know why. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I don't know if I want to be here anymore. All of the things. Yeah, Janae, I say a lot of service-based business owners are not familiar with the launch process. And again, I just teach something called the lean launch because it's a very simple launch process. And again, we talked about this in depth in day 1's training. And again, we'll go more in depth on like how to actually set up a launch and launch your services, how to relaunch, how to track your metrics along the launch so you know where to adjust and where to improve the next time in the Services That Sell course. But I say most service-based business owners don't leverage that type of sales strategy because they're not familiar with it or they just don't believe that launching will work for a service. So thanks for bringing that up. But finally here, again, it's like really how do you enjoy the journey while you're actually building your business? Because you do deserve to actually enjoy what you're doing, enjoy the clients that you're working with, and actually enjoy the business that you're building. So you can actually start to experience like more reality around your dream lifestyle. And the biggest thing with this one here, and we talked about this yesterday, is really how do you start to transition yourself from a hobby hustler to an executive execution? It's really how do you start evolving your mindset and your identity, right? From being an employee to really operating and executing like an entrepreneur. And I'm just going to write this down here because I think it's really important for us to understand this. Employee and this is something that many of us struggle with, primarily because if you came from an employee background, meaning that you've had a boss all of your life, you've worked for somebody else, it can be challenging making this transition and building the bridge between these two, especially if you're building your business while you're still working your 9 to 5. This can be challenging too because you're constantly having to code switch every single day. Like you're going into your job for 9 to 5, you have to come home, reset, and then put on your entrepreneur hat. Okay, and then again, I like to call this the CEO code switch, because it's really what needs to happen for you to be successful. And for you to actually not only enjoy the business that you're building, but to create like success with what you're building. Many people stall out and struggle in their business because they never master this. And this is really, again, all about, first and foremost, I think a lot of us need to understand this is really, you have to shift your mindset and understand that your business is not just about you. And I know that might be hard to hear, but it's really not about you. Like your business does not exist to get support. And I say this all the time, like just because you built it does not mean people will naturally just come. You have to build it and then tell people to come and give them a reason to stay. Your business exists to primarily solve somebody else's problem. Just because you built a business, like, Jay, I got a business. Woohoo! Why aren't clients rolling in? I have my website up. Nobody's visiting it. What's the problem? It's like, boo-boo. You are operating like an employee right now. Because a lot of us employees, which I've been there, I left corporate America. I was a pipeline engineer, doing the whole shebang. We're used to going to interview for a job, somebody giving us that job, and then us showing up, putting in 40 or 50 hours in a week, and every 2 weeks receiving a paycheck. So then a lot of us will build a business thinking the same thing. Well, Jay, if I'm just busy for 40 hours a week and I put up my website and that's you showing up to work and I'm doing all this stuff, why am I not making money? Because your business does not operate as if you're an employee anymore. It doesn't matter if you work 10 hours a week or 60 hours a week. That does not necessarily correlate to how much money you're going to make in your business. So this is a huge transition that a lot of us have to work through and really learn how to understand and master, because it doesn't work the same way as having a job. And understanding too that really your focus needs to be much more on serving your clients versus actually selling them. Okay, it's all about serving over selling. And many of us, again, struggle with being able to fully show up and serve our audience because we're so caught up on like, well, what am I going to get? How much am I going to make? Like, where's my money? Why aren't they buying? It's like, well, have you even served them yet? Have you communicated what problem you can actually solve for them? Do they even care about the problem that you want to solve? Is there any sense of urgency around why they need to be doing it now versus waiting? So this is really, really important for you guys. Because again, most people struggle with that because they are an employee. It's like, I'm going to show up, do my time. I'm going to collect my coins. And most people can get by in their job being very mediocre employees and still getting paid. That doesn't fly in the entrepreneur world. It just doesn't. So, and another core thing here, because I know most of my audience is very mission driven. You guys have huge hearts. You want to impact the world. You really want to leave a legacy and leave an impact. You have a heart to just serve and to give. But one thing a lot of you ladies especially need to understand is you are not a charity. You are not a volunteer organization. You are building and running a for-profit entity, meaning that the best way for you to actually show up and serve your client is by you actually charging them. I'm going to say that again to make sure everybody heard, or if you like tuned out, maybe you're on your phone scrolling or something, that you reel it back in on this one, is you are not a charity. You guys did not file 501c3s. You are running and building a for-profit entity. And the best way for you to actually serve your client is to charge them. And I'm going to explain why. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of people struggle with this. Well, what if they can't afford it? Oh, I don't know if I can receive that much money, Jay. I don't know. Can I make $7,500 a month? Girl, I can't make no $15,000 a month. Like, what? No, I can't do that. I can't charge them that. Oh, I can't do that. One thing you guys got to understand, that has nothing to do with your client. That is your own identity around your self-worth, around what you're able to receive. And in order for you to properly serve your client, there needs to be a commitment that happens. There needs to be an energetic exchange that takes place between two parties. Most of us get caught up on money. I mean, a lot of us, we've been taught a ton of different things about money, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for money. All these things have been taught to us. You have to understand those are all stories that we've been telling ourselves for years. And we have the control and have the power to rewrite those stories. But the best way, and I know a lot of you guys, and I'm going to snatch some edges on this one in a moment too. So if you need to take a breath and collect yourself before we go here, I'm going to just give you forewarning. But there needs to be some sort of energetic exchange that happens to really solidify and make sure that both parties are committed to the transaction of what's going on. And a lot of you guys will say, well, Jay, nobody will pay me for my services, but you guys get caught up on paying somebody else for their level of expertise. And I had a potential client earlier this year, and it was a huge moment because I think I've been in the position before, and I've seen so many other clients be in the position before. She's like, Jay, I want to start charging more for my design work. And she told me that it was going to be like, I think maybe $1,500 or $2,000. That's what she wanted to raise her price to. And she's like, nobody will pay me for that. And then my services for my mastermind group was like a little bit less than that. It was probably like $1,500 a month. And she's like, I can't pay that. I can't afford it. That's too much. And then she replied back saying, it's crazy that I'm literally typing the words to you that my potential clients type to me. And I realized that like it's really the one that I had the issue. I'm not even willing or understanding the true value of why I need to pay for a service to help me level up. And one thing I want you guys to understand is like that energetic commitment is critical. And if you're constantly giving your services away, one, people pay attention when they actually pay some money for what they're getting, period. Okay? And if you're giving your services away or constantly doing free, some people will be grateful and will actually show up. Most people will not. Why? Because we live in America and our country is definitely built on money. The world is built on money. And I want you guys to understand, think about it, if even with this free workshop that we're doing right now, over 600 people signed up for this workshop. There's 60 of you on here live. Let me ask a question. If you guys were going to an event, right? Maybe there was an event tonight and the ticket for the event was $27, let's just say. And then it starts raining outside and the weather's super crappy and you just got your hair like laid. You look outside and it's like, it's raining. I got to drive 30 minutes in the rain to get to this little event. I only paid $27 for it. You know what? I'm not going to go. It's cool. It was only $27. Like, bump it. I'm going to just stay home, watch Netflix, and I'm going to chill. Let me ask you another question. If you would have paid $3,000 to go to that event, same circumstance. It was raining outside. You had to drive 30 minutes. Your hair just got done. If you paid $3,000 to go, best believe you would put a Kroger grocery bag over your head, tie that on down, get your umbrella. You'd leave 45 minutes early to make sure that you would go. Why? Because you made a higher level of energetic exchange, which one, it makes you show up differently for yourself. You're now committed. Internally, you're committed. Yeah, y'all like 3K, I'm right in the rain. Like, yes, you are going to go. So a lot of the time, the money is not just about, like, sometimes we get so caught up on the upfront sticker tag that we're like, oh God, that's $2,000. No, I'm good. I don't know about that one, Jay. I don't know. But instead of thinking about what is the long-term return on your investment. So that's the thing to think about. And this is, again, transitioning from this employee to this entrepreneur mindset. This is where the CEO code switch has to happen. Because entrepreneurs, CEOs, they think about the long-term return on their investment. Employees think about the upfront cost. Huge mindset shift, right? Employees are going to say, okay, this thing might cost me $2,000. How many clients do I need to have to say yes to me to make back my full return on my investment? If you are charging for a signature service at a $2,000 price point, you only need to get one person to say yes to cover the cost of the course or the program or the coach. Does that make sense? Can you get one client? And that covers the full cost of the education that you just paid for. Like, so you got to think about not only the return on the investment, but also think about how much money do you need to pay to actually force yourself to show up and get out of the hobby hustler habits that you may have. How much money do you need to invest for you to show up at a greater capacity for yourself than you've ever shown up before? Like now when I enroll in coaching programs, like I try to look for programs that are an uncomfortable financial stretch for me. Why? Because like my life is busy now. I need to have skin in the game financially to even make me show up and do the work. And not only just show up and learn, but actually go implement it and execute it. So I think that's really, really important. And the other thing here from this employee to entrepreneur mindset that we have to understand is that, like, how many of you guys have a college degree? Just asking the question. How many of you guys paid to go to college? Jerisha Hawk did. I paid over $60,000 to go get my engineering degree. How many of you guys are actually still doing a job function related to your college degree? Probably not many. So it's like some people will say, well, I bought this course and I'm not actually using it. Or I did this and I'm not actually using it. Like, bro, y'all, and you think about college, I paid over $60,000 to get a piece of paper to qualify me to go get a job. I ain't made no money yet. I haven't earned a salary yet, but I had to pay, entrepreneur mindset here, an upfront cost to get certified to teach me the know-how to actually be an effective engineer. I wasn't able to just wake up one day and say, I'm going to go be an engineer and work in natural gas and lead $400, $500 million pipeline projects. No, B. So why do people think, why do the hobby hustlers out there think that you can just go start a business tomorrow with no sense of identity around how do I actually build a business? How do I run a business? How do I market a business? How do I sell in my business? How do I serve my clients? Like, most of us are not gifted at all of those things. Like, I have team members that are smarter than me so they can execute. I invest in courses and training. But just like the same way you guys invested in your education to go get a degree to teach you the know-how to execute that skill set so you can get a job in that field, building a business is very similar. We have to go get the education, learn how to do it, learn in the areas where we have gaps so we can be overall stronger so we can build the business that we actually want to have. This is a huge mindset shift that happens even from a money perspective. And I just want to make sure everybody understands that. Just let me know if you guys are good there. But all of us paid, maybe you have scholarships. So you whether you paid with money or whether you paid with time spent. I was in college for 6 years because I changed my major and all this other stuff. Like, whether you paid with money or whether you paid with time spent, there was still an energetic exchange that took place that made you show up and actually spend 4 years to get a degree, right? So if you didn't have to pay for school, you paid 4 years of your life, 5 years of your life. I'm just using that as an example. So there always has to be some sort of energetic exchange for you to actually enjoy the process of building your business. And your business does not exist to get support, and you are not a nonprofit. The only people I do pro bono work for is churches and children, and that's about it. Like, you need to make sure that you're earning a profit, or else you're not building a business. You are running a hobby. That's just taking up way too much of your time. Okay? And I think the biggest thing here that I want to leave everybody on is do not allow your ego to stop you from elevating and really fully stepping into your purpose. Many of us allow our ego. Well, girl, I can teach myself all of that. I know how to do all of that. I don't need no help. Ego, ego, ego. And that really prevents us from truly elevating to the platform that we know we've been called to serve at. And I think this is really, really important. Many of us need to, we're talking about some hard truths today, but this is really what's required for you to go from hobby hustler and employee to really transitioning and doing that code switch to being an entrepreneur and functioning like an executive. And many of us, again, struggle with that transition, which makes the journey to building beyond 6 figures very, very difficult. But one thing is, no matter what, as you're building your business, if you want it to be enjoyable, there are 3 resources that no matter what you are going to be spending: time, energy, or money. And many of us are able, if you're not going to spend money on it, you're going to be spending time and energy. If you are going to be spending money on it, you will spend less time and energy because you learning from somebody who's already done what you've done. Or if you are hiring a coach or joining a course or being in a program, and you're paying for access to this, basically it's like a fast fast pass that teaches you, it shortens your learning curve on how to understand and get the knowledge and information that you need so you can fast track your way to success. So like I look at my clients who join my mastermind program, you know, it's a 5-figure investment, but people have been able to go from making $4,000 a month to $25,000 a month in less than 9 months. Could she have got there on her own? Yes. Would she have done it in 9 months? Probably not. It shortens your learning cycle. Or people who join services that sell. And you guys can go look at the praise page to see any of these testimonials. But like people have been able to go from earning $0 in their business, like losing money in their business, to making $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 in less than 3 months. And it's not like once they've done that or once the course is over, the education is now useless. No, they keep implementing and applying what they learned from me over and over and over again. And they're able to continue to make money off of that. That's a huge mindset shift that has to happen for all of us here though, okay? So let me know if this is making sense or if it's resonating with you guys. Definitely just throw some hearts or smiley faces up on the screen. I want to make sure to answer some of these questions here. So Nicole said, does your signature service have to be based off of 1 month? No, Nicole, your signature service can be, there is no like, does it have to be? That's an employee question. A lot of us are asking for permission to do what we want. The time frame of your service really needs to be a time frame in which allows you to actually serve your client the best and help them get results. So some of my programs are longer because it takes longer to get the results. Some of my programs are shorter because it takes a shorter amount of time to help my client get the result. So there's not a, does it have to be? In entrepreneur world, anything is possible. It can be anything you want, but I really approach it from a serving mindset. What is the best time frame that I need to have in place for me to walk through my process to teach somebody else how to get a result? And if you don't know, you know, this is again what we're going to talk about in the Services That Sell course, is really how do you kind of predict that and how do you make a best guess? Because a lot of us, again, are used to being an employee. Somebody is telling us what to do, when to do, how to do it. We're given a job description. We're told what to do when we show up to work every day. We are given the strategic goals. We are given the focal point for our business. Like we're given all of those things. The thing in entrepreneurship that is really tough for most people to get to is that you don't know what's going to work until you test it. You have no idea what the best time frame is going to be, or even like what it should necessarily even be priced at, or who the best audience is until you actually go out there and test the thing. And this is why doing a lean launch is so valuable, is because it allows you to test and launch and earn money while you're still testing your product and testing your service before you spend too much time. Like you can do that quicker. You can validate your offer and validate your service in a shorter time frame. So it doesn't matter what, like the lean launch applies to VAs, project managers, coaches, people in the health and wellness space, any of those things. Like it doesn't matter. And again, I understand the concept of what it is. We teach that launch process in the Services That Sell course. And L'Oreal, like, I got frustrated because I just want to know what to do. In entrepreneurship, you never really know. And the value I think is important for you guys to understand is there somebody out there getting results that you want to experience yourself? And do they have a strategy, right? Like anybody here who is a service-based business, if you really are looking for a blueprint or looking for at least a roadmap to follow to help you get to your destination, find an expert in your industry or who's teaching around services that, like Services That Sell the course is something that can definitely help you, because it gives you a framework to follow. When you don't know what to do, it'll guide you in the right direction and help you customize the journey based off of what your unique service or your unique offer is, right? So if you don't know, this is why it's so valuable for you. You can either keep going at it alone, trying to figure it out, stuck in analysis paralysis, constantly remaking these decisions in your head when you never actually put anything out there to test it, or implement somebody else's strategy, apply it, see if it works for you. If it does, great. If it doesn't, go do that same thing again. So that's, I think, a really, really important thing for you guys to understand. So really great question, Nicole and L'Oreal, for making that point. Sharon, I do want to answer this question, then we're going to wrap up with the train tonight. She says, I sell beauty products, and it seems like posting all the time doesn't get my clients. But when I post videos and things like that, I get tons of clients. How can I come up without sounding desperate? When you focus on serving over selling. You know, just because you post a bunch of content that's like, hey, I got a new product, go buy it. How are you connecting that with your client? How are you connecting that to their pain point and their need? How are you helping them make a decision and make it easy for them to understand why your product or your offer will solve the problem that they have? How are you walking them through those stages of awareness that all customers go through to help them understand, one, what their problem even is, two, why your offer is something that will solve their problem, and three, how do you actually convert them and help them understand the sense of urgency around it to make them convert now versus waiting later? And again, like, these questions are phenomenal, guys, and this is something we talk about in depth in the Services That Sell course, because these are not easy questions. Like, it's not like these no-brainer things, but if you are the type of person out there who is just posting and not getting any content or any conversions, or it's like, I'm making videos and I'm getting traction, but how do I make more strategic videos? We talk all about that in the Services That Sell course. So tomorrow we're going to be rolling into day 3 of the workshop, which is really all about services that sell. And I'm going to show you guys my exact method for selling my signature services. It's an 8-step process. It's really the sales cycle that I have learned. I'm in a process that I've developed because it's worked for my clients as well on how to sell your services consistently. You'll really learn how to just rinse and repeat that process so you can start making money and making money consistently. Really the 2 mindsets that you have to master in order for you to sell your services effectively. And though I'll leave that for you guys. So we're going to be rolling into that workshop tomorrow, again at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys will receive an email in the morning, again, with your growth assignment. If you and your accountability partner are doing all of the assignments over the next 3 days, you're posting that in the Facebook group, you guys will be entered in. We're going to be randomly selecting an accountability pair to win my Fearless with Facebook course. So really, really good goodies there. Thank you. So if you have not registered for the workshop yet, it's not too late. The videos will be available for the next few days to make sure you guys can get caught up and all of that. But you can register just on either clicking the link in the title of this description or clicking the link in the comments below. L'Oreal said, what if I can't get in touch with our accountability partner? You can always pick a new accountability partner if you need one. Or, maybe try to send her a private message DM or maybe tag her in the Facebook group. I know this is the short time frame of all things here. This is why we really are rewarding individuals who are taking action and taking action quickly. So I'd either try to tag her in the Facebook group or maybe send her a private message. LaShella said, this has been great. I'm glad I signed up. If you missed day 1, all of the growth assignments are posted in our Facebook group in the file section. So you can still get caught up if you did join late. She said, this is good. I no longer want to do all the things. Huge aha moment. Cherish, tomorrow evening, the course will be open and available for enrollment. So just be on the lookout, be with us tomorrow. And then enrollment will open for services that sell tomorrow night, right after our workshop. So you don't have to wait too much longer. We will be rocking and rolling tomorrow, and we have some really, really, really fun bonuses. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I don't want to spoil any goodness. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this. So if you guys, again, I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Day 3 is all about services that sell, introducing you guys to my process and method to selling, and really helping to make sure that you guys understand the 2 mindsets that you have to master so you can sell effectively. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the Facebook group, posting your growth assignments, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 7. Bye, y'all.